Hey, so here we go again. We've got to the final episode of Secret Invasion, and all the shenanigans and machinations have been revealed. And guess who saves the universe? No, Amelia Clark and Olivia Colman. Yes, we didn't see that coming, did we? Bonjour. So, should we get angry about it? Should we? Really? Welcome to review stroke rant stroke. I don't know what. Where are we at now? I haven't even found in all the other bits I've done since I've done this channel. I've found places on Reddit and Instagram and so the so-called social media and comments in up my inbox that would indicate that there are fans of the shows that I just cannot stand. Which kind of makes me step back next week and go, right, okay, come on, it must be you. It's not them. It's not Dismal Minus. It's you. But I've got to say, I can't find any fans of this show. Please, if you are, please, I honestly would love to get into a one-on-one with you just to chat. I mean, I know I burst a blood vessel with She-Hulk. That was the one that done me back in the day. But I've got to admit with this one, let's just chat about it. If you liked it, like if you really did find the sweet corn in this, it's a wet one. A real wet one. It's one crimp. This series is one crimp away from diarrhea. Yeah, and pick the sweet corn out of that. And I don't know where we start. We start at the beginning of the episode with Rhodey, and we know by now that he is a Skrull. But he's talking like an angry teenager. There's no level of, I don't know what it is. There's nothing. It sounds like it makes me sound like I hate young people and young talent and up and coming talent. But I really, really don't. Because it's that word, it's talent. And do you know what talent needs when it's young, it needs moulding and honing and a direction. And nothing that Dismal Minus does is directed in any way whatsoever. So you get a character like Rhodey talking like an irritated teenager. And now the president is there and all the Secret Service is around him at the beginning of this episode. And it's so out of character, bearing in mind that there's a Skrull invasion, that it just doesn't resonate. It doesn't work. Telling the audience that Rhodey is a Skrull in episode 1, and then giving us excruciating scenes of him manipulating the president would have worked for 6 episodes. Just that one idea. Do you see what I did there? One idea. First episode, tell us Rhodey's a Skrull, but show it. But then he does. No one else knows apart from us, the audience, and we're going, "Oh my God, Mr. President, don't listen to the Skrull." But instead, we get him in this last episode going, yeah, it's the Russians, isn't it? It's the Russians, yeah. Just sign this bit of paper and we can blow them away. It's not exactly West Wing, is it? just doesn't work on any level for anyone over the age of 7. Absolutely. And as far as Gravik's concerned, there's massive fight. And spoiler alert, by the way, massive, massive spoiler alert. I'm a bit late with a spoiler alert, aren't I? Because I told you that Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke saved the day. Because basically, Emilia Clarke pretends to be Fury, which the switcheroo, yeah, that was pretty cool. I'll give them that. Give them that. There's a little 1/10 of a point out of 100 for this shit show. But Gravik, it just hasn't worked. Him as the big bad, it literally hasn't worked. And I'm sure I can hear I don't know if he's Welsh or not. And I should do a bit more research. But I don't know if he's a Welsh actor. Because every now and again, I can hear a little bit of Boyle in there. When he's talking to Fury / Emilia Clarke. I'm thinking, did I just hear a bit of Welsh there? And the fight is what's with the arm? The special. Oh, we used to call it special effects. I've aged myself, but anyway, I'm the geekyOlhog. Do you know what? I'm going to start calling them special effects instead of CGI. There's a point in it where Emilia Clarke, as beautiful as she is, and she is a great actress. She's a good actress, and she's doing this stuff. Everyone's doing this stuff, and they've got a CGI arm, and I don't know if it's the Hulk. I don't know. None of the powers in the fight are defined. We know they've both got Super Skrull powers now, but nothing has been set up for this fight. And if you knew that you couldn't have mutant powers, because they're using powers from the X-Men, they're using powers from every superhero, they're just using every superheroic power. Telepathy, teleportation, super strength, flight. They're using every single superpower. So nothing is quite... But if along the way it was defined and Gravik, and this is just another idea off the top of my head, if along the way Gravik had particular powers in mind, just because Fantastic Four has nothing to do with this, even though the Skrulls and the Super Skrulls started way back then. But so why go there? Why go there with this idea to the origins of? I'm not going to go there because at the very least, the Gravik character could have, through his storyline and hatred for Fury, been particularly persistent about certain powers. And then when it gets to the fight, now we know whose powers they're both using in the Super Skrull machine, whatever it is. I don't know if I'm being very clear with that. What I'm trying to say is you've got to define the powers they get. Otherwise, the two of them fighting in this last episode is how it ended up, which was they've got any power at any time, and suddenly it looked like she had the Cyclops beam that killed Gravik. Not decapitated him, not disintegrated him. He just went, eh. You see a long shot of a big beam of light going, dee, and then he goes, eh. Not the head off the body, not disintegrated, not just a shadow of ash on the floor. Just a CGI green man going, eh. Oh, so as you can tell, this is the usual roller coaster of emotion with this dismal minus barrage of buffoonery. Where does it end? Where does it end? I hope it no, that's a subject for another day. I'm not going to go there. Where does it end? The president scene in the corridor. So Fury, because it's gayer in the thing. It means it's Fury in the hospital. So he's obviously doing away with all the Secret Service protection. But why would he do that if Olivia Colman's character? Why are them two not communicating? That's not been set up. None of the storylines been set up. And best bit in every one thing I do know in these, because it does take me a few gin and tonics to get fueled up for these. The dialogue. One consistent thing I do know I have been harping on about in my reviews of Fury is the dialogue. And the scene right at the end, spoiler alert, but no, I don't think anyone cares at this point, but I've got to say it. So, all of the real people are being released. And of course they're being released by Gaia, because she is the bestest ever, alongside Olivia Colman. They are the two bestest women ever. You know, Nick Fury, I don't really know whether he will have a statue made of himself, because it was more Olivia Colman and Emilia Clarke. Shock horror. Absolute shock horror in this episode that they are the two heroes of this story. Wow. Of course. Of course. So you've got, I don't know why I keep forgetting English actors' names. Now I remember the name of the actor from Mission Impossible, whose name I couldn't remember, which was Simon Pegg. Now I can't remember the name of the guy who's in the Marvel stuff, and I've got no idea why he's in these films. I haven't got a clue how he got cast as a character. His American accent is so shit. But he's a decent comedian back in the day in England, doing little... But why? Anyway, he gets unleashed from the pod, looks round at old Rhodey, and he goes, "Oh, how long have you been in here?" Hello? How does he know? You have just, you can literally see, how do you write a line of dialogue like that? So you're in this Matrix-like machine, you've just been released, and no one's helping you, but they're all helping Rhodey for some reason. He's in the worst way. Everyone else is like blinking into the light. They've been released from their Matrix machine because the Skrulls have overtaken their personalities. So everyone else is all right except Rhodey. He needs two of them. Oh no, he's getting dragged out. Oh my God, I'm in a bad way. But he turns around to Rhodey and goes, "Oh, how long have you been in here?" How would you know? You don't know, do you? It would have been better for Rhodey to turn around and say, "I've just woken up the same moment as you, mate. I don't know until we get outside. There might be flying cars. Oh, and we might be in the future. We might have been cryogenically frozen for 300 years, and this is going to be a really interesting second series." But of course not. Of course not. He just goes, and I haven't even written a note about Rhodey's reply. I've just written a note about the dialogue. Shocking. Shocking. And I'm going to burn this green shirt. It was in memoriam of She-Hulk that I wore. She-Hulk ain't getting a second series, is it? Yes, ain't getting a second series. And Fury's wife, who refused to move, like there is no, what is it? Oh, in the UK, what is it? Clause 21, whatever it is, where you can evict someone from a rented property. But she weren't having none of it, even if it was a Skrull invasion. No. Anyway, there was a big attack last episode. She's moved straight back in, redecorated. Old Fury goes back. he likes he likes what she's done with the place. Oh, she just moved straight back in. Oh, and it's all back to here. It's all back to normal. Apart from an alien beam. It could have been really poignant. Do you know what? There's only so far you can go with all this, like all the hatred of it, and deservedly so. People should, and do you know why I'm using that word? I don't often use that word. I'm going to use the word detest this week. I detest it. I'm surrounded by it. Just take a look around. I did think about moving the camera around to show everyone or anyone who's bothering to watch our video review of the six, how much I love the stuff. Where this come from. And this is the heart of it. It really is the heart of it. I've grown up loving this stuff. It's like ripping the head off of your favourite cuddly toy that you grew up with. You know, you get to an age and they just rip the head off it and go, oh, yeah, I'll put up with that. This is what happens in the modern world. That's the equivalent to what they're doing. I've shown you the covers of Secret Invasion and what they did, and I didn't expect them to replicate that. I honestly didn't. When they said Secret Invasion, I thought they're not going to have every superhero in the Marvel Universe versus their Skrull counterparts. No way. No way on this God's green earth was they ever going to do that. But I expected a bit more than this. A bit more. Just a tad. I didn't even... Anyway, the bar... I've thrown the bar... I've smelted the bar down and weighed it in for scrap metal because the bar can't go any lower. I haven't got the strength to dig the bar into the ground any lower than Dismal have sunk everything they had at their disposal. Everything they had. They had the world at their feet. I'm going to leave it there before I start crying. Series overview. What a waste of time. 200 million, purportedly $200 million. I did note that there were 22 producers on this show. When you wonder how this shit costs $200 million, 22 producers, and this isn't like in cinema where you get an executive producer credit because you put money in. These are all gold diggers, every single one of them. There's the director is executive producer. There's Samuel Jackson, executive. Why? And then we wonder why it's $200 million. The cast. You look at the cast and crew credit roll on all of these Dismal Miners shows, and every line of credit, all the names that scroll down or up, whatever way round it is, or just put dollars to it. Just do that. Just go, yeah, there you go. You wouldn't mind. You wouldn't mind if the sum of its parts was any good, but it really isn't. The sum of its parts are dangly, sweaty, and hairy. And on that note, I'm going to bid you all adios.